Hello and welcome back to the No Dig Norfolk Gardener. This year, 2022, has been an exceptional year in the glasshouse. With the glorious weather that we've had this summer, the glasshouse and indeed the polytunnel have given such harvests, and we've had so much from these two indoor structures. But it is mid-September now, and you can probably see that one of the changes is that we're taking the green netting off that was help shading these plants when we did have these exceptionally hot temperatures, just to let as much light through into the glasshouse as possible to finish ripening the tomatoes that we have left. As you can see on the plants, there's not too many tomatoes now to go. We've been picking these since early June, and yeah, there's not too many left now. The San Marzano are just hanging about a little, but they will, you can see they're well on their way. The red cherry tomatoes, there's very little of those left now. And as we said in the jobs for the month, you can see that we've been removing the leaves as the trusses have come ready. The Gardener's Delight are just about all done with. The Sweet Million, the new one that we tried this year, that's definitely finished now. It's just waiting for these odd remaining few now to turn red and be ready. Now this is what we got today. We came in here about 30 minutes ago, and this is the harvest that we've taken today. So you can see there's still plenty of tomatoes that we're having to harvest. But clearly the next time we come in here to do any harvesting, there's not going to be too many left. But that's no bad thing, because we do have plans for the glasshouse and the polytunnel, which we shall tell you about a little later on in the video. So don't go away just yet. Our chilies are now starting to ripen. I think you saw in a video, three videos back, they're starting to go. Now they are ripe, and lots of them are ripening. We have actually used one or two just lately while we've been cooking, but we do plan to preserve these, and that'll be something that Mrs. W will be explaining a little bit later on in the month about exactly how we will be preserving all of these chilies so that we can use them long into the winter months and indeed into next year. I know that many of you have been growing aubergines either for the first time, or you've choose to grow them along with us. And sowed the seed when we sowed it, and put them out into the borders when we put them out to the borders. So hopefully you've had a wonderful harvest just like ourselves. It really has been amazing, to the extent that you'll probably remember a couple of months back, probably 3 months back, when we were in here, we had problems with ours in that the leaves had gone all mottly, and we have a feeling it was probably red spider mite. But they recovered, and we've got more aubergines. Hopefully your aubergines are still in fruit and you're still being able to harvest from them. And I do hope that you didn't get the same problems that we got. But now that we are getting, as I say, it's now mid-September now, one of the things that we do need to do is to, like the tomatoes, is be thinking about cutting the leaders off. And you're going to be doing the plant a favour. There simply isn't going to be enough time for this flower to be able to fruit, and then for that fruit to ripen. So you're better off taking the tops out, pretty much like you do the tomato plants, but also going around and taking off any flowers that you can see. So there's one there, there's a couple down here I can see, so they can now come off. We don't need those anymore. And then what that means is that all of these lovely fruits that we have got, they'll continue growing, and we will get those through to a final harvest. That's the state of play here in our glass house. Just to the left of Mrs. W, you can see the osteospermum plant. Now we always leave this in here, and you can see it's got really quite large. Unsurprisingly, it's been quite warm in here, but we will cut that back to a more manageable size. And we always keep that in the corner there, so that it does encourage the pollinators into the greenhouse. You may remember earlier in the year we said to you we were going to plant some of our flowers just outside the greenhouse. You can't see them now, but they are still there. And you know, the pollinators get as far as there, and then they know that there's flowers in here. There were marigolds. They've actually come out now, actually the marigolds. There were nasturtiums, obviously the osteospermum. So that's been really quite successful in, you know, we haven't had any failures due to pollination. So that really has worked really quite well. But as we start to get towards the end of September and then into October, for us at least, it means changes within the greenhouse. Different people do different things with their greenhouses or polytunnels. We generally tend to have the plants out and then replenish the borders with compost, and there it stays like that until we want to put more aubergines and tomatoes in the following year. However, it's going to be a bit different this year. Myself and Mrs. W, we've decided we're going to have a try at one or two different things with our indoor structures. So we talked about the chilies a little earlier. They're doing really well. They shall remain here, and we shall get most of them will turn their lovely red colour. But rather than just taking those plants out this year, we've noticed that some people have managed to overwinter their plants and then replant them the following year. So that's something that we're going to have a try at. And if you'd like to do the same, then you can follow along with the videos that we make and put out onto YouTube. And if you are watching us for the first time and you'd like to see how we get on, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And also switch on all your notifications, and then you will know whenever we upload a video to our channel. For us here in the UK, we live in the fine county of Norfolk, midway between the city of Norwich and the coastal town of Great Yarmouth. And what we have noticed is that our autumns and our winters are certainly getting milder. Yes, every now and again it will throw a cold one in, and actually that's most welcome when it does do that. But in the main, the trend is that it's getting milder. So what we thought we'd like to do is to try and see if we can utilise our indoor growing spaces. So we're going to try planting some garlic in the greenhouse and the polytunnel, as well as outside. Now, I've seen other people that do use their indoor structures to be able to do that, and their garlic looks really quite good. And for the people that I have seen where they've grown it indoors, they don't seem to have such a rust problem. So we're going to see if we can do that, and we'll see what the difference is between what we can grow indoors and what we can grow outdoors. As you know, we also like to overwinter spring onions, if you're a follower of our channel. We are going to be doing that, and there's a space for them in bed 5. We're also going to try some in the greenhouse to see whether we can get a harvest earlier than the April time when we would normally harvest them outside. We also want to try sowing some carrots and being able to sow them a bit earlier, let's say in January. Bearing in mind, carrots are normally 12 weeks before they get to a harvestable size. So it could be January, February, March. We could be eating carrots in April if it's successful. We are about to sow some more pak choy and some cabbage. And we are going to try growing these in our indoor structures. Now, of course, being no dig, before any of that happens, what we shall do is replenish the soil with our compost, and we should get a layer on that. That'll be one of the first jobs to do. And in times gone past, we have left the tomatoes and everything else that's in here sort of till getting towards the end of October. That's not going to be so this year. It's going to be right at the beginning. And as we said earlier, you can see there's not many tomatoes left. So there's no real point in leaving these all in here. We might as well have these out at the beginning of October. Hopefully most of these will have turned their lovely red colour, and we will have had a wonderful harvest from those, certainly looking that way. And certainly by then we will have had all the aubergines off here that we want. So we can clear that and then prep this soil ready for us to be able to do our next plantings that we want to do. If you regularly use your indoor structures to plant vegetables and to get harvests through the winter period, please leave us a comment down below. Let us know what you do. You know, the roles are reversed this time. You may do this. We haven't done it before. So we'd be really, really interested to see how you get on when you sow things, when you plant them, when you have harvested certain vegetables that you've grown or that you've planted out in autumn and hopefully to harvest over the winter period. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. We like that because that does give us an indication that we're doing something that you like. And of course, it goes without saying, regardless whether you've grown things under cover before or not, please leave your comments down below. We do love to get your comments. We do try to answer them as quickly as we can and always as honestly as we can. And just a quick shout just before we do go actually about the jobs for the month. It is mid-September, so it's a really good time now to start getting your questions in for the October post bag if you have anything that you'd like us to answer specifically. We have had a good response so far. We've had one or two questions that have come in. So, yep, that's really good. But for those of you that still haven't got your questions in yet, and maybe you've got something you'd like to ask us, and it doesn't necessarily have to be about the plants. Don't forget, on the channel now, Mrs. W has been doing her preserves. So if you'd like to ask her a specific question too, then she can answer that on our post bag. We shall see you next time.